Once you learn the basic movements of the pieces, the next thing to consider is castling. Now, castling, depending on either side, is putting the king in a safe position so that the other pieces can move around them. As you develop the game, you'll find that controlling the center is an important key. But if you're using the pawns to control the center, they're moving away from the king, and the king becomes a bigger target. So one of the things that we want to do with the king early in the game is castle. And the easiest way to figure out castling is that the king goes to the next dark square, and the rook goes on the other side of it. So this is called castling short, or castling to the king side. The other possibility is castling queenside. In this particular case, where there are no other pieces that interfere and no pieces attacking the squares that the king has to cross, then the king, again, goes to the dark square, the rook goes on the other side. This move has two functions. It's not just putting the king in a safer position, but it's also creating a position where the rooks are connected. So if somebody attacks this rook defends. If somebody attacks this rook defends. The king doesn't have to be bothered with it. The last rule and the newest rule in chess is something called in passant. It was introduced by Philidor. And this is the idea that if a pawn reaches past, one square past the halfway point, he's into the opposing player's area or area of influence. And so, if the opposing player wants to try and control a square beyond it, say black tries c5, this creates what Philidor introduced as in passant, or taking in passing. And what happens is the white pawn can actually move here. Now this, on the basis of that, seems rather strange, but the idea is simply this, that since the white pawn has gone past the halfway point, in order for this pawn to go past it, it must challenge. So the move in passant is the same as, instead of black moving here, black moved here. Now white could take it. So in an in passant position, if white is already here, black moves here. Just as if black had just simply played here, white still takes this pawn. And that's a special rule which occurs occasionally in games, but is not all that common.